former firemen and everything, we always used to say, no, here's how you pull the window and, blah, blah, blah. So there's none here that will pop out with a certain.
We would die.
Yeah, no, like we can't get out.
No, but you got me.
Are you gonna put the fire out?
No, I'm gonna break that. I'm gonna break the window.
Yeah, that's why I asked you. I said, oh, which one of these pops all the way down for exit?
These
I
two
didn't know that.
guys saw me struggling to try to open windows, so they don't have much faith in me.
Wow.
Yeah. If you don't mind, let me just get, hey guys, real quick, and then I'll introduce the mayor and we can get into the whole thing. We have the debate tomorrow.
Yeah.
Only one debate.
Tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow. It's a good thing I'm reminding you.
Opening statement, boys.
Yes. So that's something that if you are behind, you need to get on that.
I can find it, it's fine.
Hey, hold on. We will randomly select which debate pairing goes tomorrow, and I guess one of the debate questions you'll get lucky and not go tomorrow. But it's all luck and draw. Yes, sir.
Is that right up there tomorrow for the questions?
I'm sorry.
We gotta write something before we do the debate.
That's the whole thing. It's the debate. Yeah. You have to have that. Your
Your
opening statement. Yeah, the whole thing. That's got to be done. So those of you that took your sweet time the last few days in class, it's all coming to roost now. Anyway, so that's tomorrow, and right now we have our Mayor Yady. They met Jeff Martin yesterday, so hopefully there's some questions that we can work with here. And as you know, Mayor Yady has been, I think we established his 13 years serving the township, lifelong resident, and I won't take anything away from you, so it's all yours. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and hopefully they'll be addressed, your safety issues here. Mayor Yady, first female mayor of Hamilton Township, and running for re-election this year. And lifelong Hamiltonian, born, raised, and educated in Hamilton Township. Everyone asks me, Mayor, why are your lawn signs blue and gold? Because I graduated from Nottingham. And ran for my first office in Nottingham High School, class president. From there, went to Stockton State College. Then everyone asked me, where did I grow up? I grew up in the Bromley section of Hamilton Township. And very proud. And people say, oh, Mayor, do you live in your building there? No, I do not live in the municipal building. No, I don't have a butler. Number one question I get asked if I have a jet. No, I do not have a jet. I have a fully outfitted, the kids in elementary school call it a mayor mobile. I'm the first mayor to ever get into every school in Hamilton Township. And why did I do that? Even though you have a separate governing body, after the shooting in Newtown, I told my staff, clear my schedule, get me into every school. Why? As public safety director, I wanted to get a feel and a flavor of every school in Hamilton Township. And we're 17 elementary, 3 middle, 4 high schools. Very big job. I work hand in hand with Dr. Rocco, the school superintendent. So when your schools are closed, there's several determiners. I pay about $6,000 a year to have a weather service tell me how much my bridges and my mains, the temperatures of those are. I have to determine how much roadway we can get open. Your crosswalks are all opened by our Hamilton Township employees. We do that. And several factors go into how we can get you to and from school safely. Freezing, if there's freezing rain, anything like that. And how many streets or sidewalks do you think will get open? We're all community schools here. How many of you walk to school? That's how Hamilton was built, community schooling. So if we think that you will not have enough sidewalks open because each resident is responsible for that, we'll tell the school district, well, they're going to have to walk into the street. You may either delay opening or cancel opening. And so part of the job as public safety director is working with the school district and also overseeing our police force. Everyone thinks that the chief of police can declare a state of emergency. He cannot. Only the mayor can. And reason being is only the mayor applies for FEMA funding. So if we have a state of emergency, only the mayor can do that. So that's why usually your mayor is the public safety director, because that's the only way we'll get money, any type of reimbursement. So with that, after college, I went to Stockton State College, came back, ran for the Hamilton Township Board of Education. rose to the level of vice president, and went against the governor's office as vice president of the Board of Education. There was a bill in the legislature that would reward Hamilton Township. Our size, school districts the size of ours, there was a couple of them, Tom's River at the time, and Governor Whitten said, well, I'm sorry, I was working in the legislature, in the speaker's office, the majority office. And she said, I'm sorry, that bill's dead in the water. Well, I met with the PTAs. I met with your school associations. Every principal we got in the room. All the clubs, organizations, the seniors. We lobbied 4,000 phone calls and letters later. The bill went through and we received $2.9 million. So we had a 0% tax increase that year, which was great. So after that, ran for council. And when the mayor's position came open, I never throw another elected official under the bus for their choices. When I wanted to run for mayor, I knew I had the votes. I'm going to give you 3 statements. And I want you to guess and tell me who said this to me. Hamilton will never elect a woman. You're too young. And you need to tone down the pretty. Who can tell me who said that? Just take a guess.
Henderson.
Oh, he says much worse. All elected officials. Oh, wow. Elected officials. Yep. Who would have thought, right, that would be said? So I said, that made me work harder. I said, if you're going to get in my way, I'm either going to go above you, under you, or around you, but you will not stop me. And I wanted to make a difference in Hamilton Township. I help raise my nephews. My nephews are 12 and 10, and they live with me. And they go to Hamilton Township schools. I want them to come back, and live here and be close to me. I want my parents to live here. I want my family to be close. That is why I ran for office, to make a difference in Hamilton Township. And Hamilton Township has realized the ugliest politics it has ever seen. And you may see it on Facebook, all the social media, the negative attacks. And everyone asks me, well, Mayor, how do you do that? I said, I sleep like a baby at night. And why? Because at the end of the day, whether it's a 12, 14, 16-hour day, you know that you get up every day and you help people. That's my job as mayor, is to help people and make the town better. And we've had so many accomplishments that when I took over, for example, you used to have to walk in and pay your dog license, $11. And if you didn't have exact change, they would send you away. So one woman came over and said, Mayor, I had to pay $11 and I needed exact change. And I said, where'd you come from? She said, I came from Sawmill Road. I said, it took you about 20 minutes to get here. And the gas. I said, no, that stops today. Someone find a way to do it online. We have automated so much. And as a matter of fact, when I gave my first State of the Township address, and I have my police chief and all my bureau commanders there, I said, you will now start using Facebook, Twitter, and we will have a platform where residents can communicate. We all now use social media. Social media, how many of you read a newspaper? Not sometimes. Where do you get your news from? Right there. Right? So I said to my bureau commanders, I said to my staff, we're going to communicate the way the next generation will communicate. But when I go to my senior center, they all read the newspaper. So we still have to communicate to the seniors. So we have to do things in print. And but we do have computer services for seniors to help them get up and running with social media as well. And it's a neighborhood improvement program. I've launched the most comprehensive neighborhood improvement program. How many of you have an abandoned house on your street? Right? What does that do to your block? So what we do, we go neighborhood to neighborhood, and we actually look at what's happening. Is this a vacant abandoned house? We have to register it. But what we don't like, we went from 700 homes being abandoned down to less than 300 since my administration took over. And why? Because I took months and months just driving through neighborhoods and looking at this, and I said, this isn't Hamilton. This is not who we are. I understand if family falls on hard times and they can't do some repairs, but it's not a way of life here in Hamilton Township. So we actually hired an outside contractor to address businesses. Nothing bothers me more when a business, all right, closes its door because it's sold, because that's what the corporate headquarters wanted to do. But you will maintain it. It will not be an eyesore. So we're being very aggressive with this outside company in issuing fines to them. So it doesn't impact our neighborhood. That's very important to me. Keeping taxes stable. This year I cut taxes. And how do we do that? We're working with 80 less employees. We're working smarter, not harder, automating things. Now, the individuals that used to sit there and count every penny for $11 dog licenses are now doing other things. And that's how we move Hamilton forward. And you have to think out of the box, outside the box as the mayor and public safety director. So heading into this election, there's a clear choice in this election. In the last mayor's election, my opponent couldn't even vote because he didn't live here. All of his campaign contributions come from outside of Hamilton. Mine come from inside. Do you want someone that couldn't even vote in the last elections because he didn't live here? Or do you want a lifelong Hamilton? It's going to be very clear that with several of his issues, and you may have seen what hit the newspaper today, okay? He defended a convicted individual accused of aggravated sexual assault. And he wasn't even defending him. He was asking for leniency in his sentence. And he said, it was just one night. Just one night. That victim said, she's numb now. Just one night. No. That has to stop. My former opponent, Mr. Henderson, multiple domestic violence calls to his house. Multiple. And he lets Mr. Henderson run the council chambers. Do you know we have 3 anti-crime officers, fully uniformed, carrying weapons at our council chambers now? Unheard of. Where do those officers belong? Where do they belong? Out on the streets protecting you. Protecting your lives, protecting your property. Instead, they're in council chambers. When I was on council, I wouldn't allow it. Would not allow it. They belong out on the street. If you can't run council chambers, you can't run Hamilton. And if you need a GPS to get to Hamilton West, you shouldn't be the mayor. If you can't tell me the difference between the Bromley section from Whitehorse to White City, you shouldn't be the mayor. You should know all that. You should know how this community breathes, lives, works together. You should know that disgusting politics has no role in this town, but he doesn't. Why? Because he's a pick. This is a stepping stone. He's picked from Governor Murphy to come here and run. In the last election, I was actually typing up, replacing all the radios for the police. He was deciding whether or not he wanted to live in Hamilton Township. That's outrageous. Outrageous. So that's why I'm running. And why is it so important, this election to me? I've never had more say or more energy or more requests for lawn signs than in this election. Why? Because he's decided to work with a racist, misogynist, anti-Muslim individual who ran against me in the primary. I was the only elected official. This same slate wanted to run for the Board of Education in Hamilton Township. I said, not in my town. I was the only elected official that denounced him. He sat silent. He sat silent. Now, the same locations that has his lawn signs up, same location as a racist, misogynist, anti-woman. And that's why it's so important to me, because we have to stop that. That can't prevail here in Hamilton. So, with that, 10% crime rate drop. Thank you to our officers. So when you see them, please thank them. It's working smarter, not harder. And, you know, what's missing? How many of you know a police officer, relative? You have one here, right? Do you know Hamilton Township, my government, is the only municipality that pays for school resource officers? We're the only municipality that pays for it. Usually the school district pays for it, but we didn't. And then we took it to the middle school. My lead officers, it used to be there, now they're called lead officers, are in our middle schools now. We wanted a police present in our middle school now. And and you may have seen sorry, Mr. Jacine, the safety initiative for the school board referendum. You'll see one elected official that was out in front, and that was me, fighting for it, because school safety it's just too important, and we will continue that. It's just too important. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. Kiefer?
I was going to ask you if you were nervous, but I don't think you are.
No, not at all, not at all. Why? Because, you know, when you're in this position and you see someone from out of town and he comes in, and when he said, now, how many of you have driven by Amazon? How big is Amazon? Come on, right? It's 100,000 square feet. It's huge. Now, that was built on your backs. Our sewer system was used to build that. And the mayor of Robbinsville said, my flow didn't increase. I said, oh, so the Amazon employees don't use the toilet? They don't use the toilet. You're kidding me, right? And so he tried to lie. And he tried to say, my flow didn't go up. I said it went from 16% to 19%. Guess what my opponent said? I have to look out for the interests of Robbinsville taxpayers. Then go audition to be a Robbinsville councilman or mayor. You don't belong here. You don't belong here if you can mouth those words. So he's not happy with me, the mayor of Robbinsville. Oh, no. I have a job to do. That's to protect Hamilton. Robbinsville residents can protect Robbinsville. That's my job. You know, fire consolidation. And I say this up front because we're in the mix of trying to consolidate 9 different fire departments. And my godfather is the longest standing fire chief for DQ. I have family members in wrestling. And I say this because, everyone said, well, Mayor, you have a bond with all of these firemen and women. Yes, I do. But I have to protect the taxpayers and the firefighters all at once. Okay. What's your name? Sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Taj.
Taj?
Yeah.
Okay, Taj. You're going to pay me $20 for your notes. Okay? What's your name back there? Jafet. Jafet? Yeah. You're going to pay me $10. Okay. And you're going to give me Sophia $1.50 for lunch. Okay? That's currently what happens in the fire department. Some members pay 1.5% for their benefits under Chapter 78. Some pay, let's say, 5%. Some pay 20%. So this is how little my opponent knows Hamilton Township. We all know that's unfair. He passed a budget where that continues to happen. Well, guess what? How much should I tell you you're paying?
20.
Do you know our police officers pay 20? Right now, they pay 20. Do you think that's fair to the police officers? It's not fair to the firemen. It's not fair to the taxpayers, and it's not fair to the police officers. Everyone, I pay the top in for my health benefits. But what fireman is doing different work at different stations? Why aren't they all paying the same? But he allowed it. That's how little he knows about Hamilton Township. But I'll tell you one thing, my father was a fire chief, and every fire chief gets their own vehicle. He wouldn't let me, I didn't have his boots ready. That was my job. He wouldn't let me start the car, because he knew I might take off in it. But I used to have his boots ready at the door. But you only know that if you're from here. And he doesn't. And that's why. And when you link up with a racist, misogynist, anti-Muslim candidate, you should be ashamed of yourself. And that just doesn't fly with me. So, Right, let's open it up to questions. And I tell you, just so you know, I preface it by saying there's nothing you're going to ask that embarrasses me that a 5-year-old has not asked me in a group setting. Yes, so please, nothing is off limits. Right? Cora.
If you don't win, what will your job be?
If I don't win, well, I can technically retire now. But will I? No, I'd probably launch my own company doing something. Because, you know, once you have a job like this, it's the first job that ever kept up with me. Ever. I have to do something. And, you know, I probably launch my own company, public relations or something.
So your opponent, his main topic when he spoke to us was that the biggest problem in Hamilton is all the abandoned lots and buildings that he plans that he's going to take care of, and very systematic. He works in insurance. That was his main focus, was those buildings. So my question is, in your opinion, what is one thing right now, well, what do you think is Hamilton's biggest area of focus?
Right now, Hamilton's biggest area of focus for me is naturally safety. And for him to say that that's his focus, he should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, that's kind of like what.
You should be. If safety isn't your number one answer as a mayor, he should be ashamed of himself. Why? If crime rate goes up and it continues, ours is dropping.
No, it's not.
And you lose the safety of residents feeling safe. They're not going to come here. Businesses aren't going to come here. You lose your town. You lose your town. So I can't believe he said that, to be honest with you. So, but thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to note that in my debate. So thank you. Next question. And please don't be shy with me. I'm the last.
So how long are you planning to run for if you win this one too?
You know what? I will. I'm not a lifelong. I know there's some. Once I feel that I can't be effective or make changes or run out of new ideas, I'll leave. I don't believe in, once I stop bettering things, I'll leave. You know? So, but I have skin in the game. I want my boys to come back. You know, right now you'll see me every Saturday and Sunday on the ball fields eating hot dog for the 20th day in a row, you know, because that's the way I want Hamilton. I want it to thrive. And, you know, that's scary when he says it's top priority, but he hasn't done anything on council. He didn't bring an outside company to come in and address vacant and abandoned properties. I did. So it's easy to chat when you can't even run. How many of you have gone to the council meetings? They're a disaster, right? I have women.
We've only been to one.
They're a disaster. They should be ashamed of themselves. I have 3 fully uniformed, tack vest, anti-crime members from my police department that are at council meetings. Where do they belong? Where do they belong? Right? On the street. Shame on them. Shame on them. But he won't gavel Mr. Henderson because he loves that Mr. Henderson attacks me. Who? The only reason why he's running? He said, if Yadi doesn't make me her second in command, I'm going to unleash on her. I said, send this note to Mr. Henderson. It's going to take a bigger man than you to get me out of office. And his head blew up. And then he didn't like that. I beat him. Why? Because I came out the only elected official and said no to racism, misogynist. Did you ever see his pictures of me on Facebook? Every member of my family is in court now against him or the people he works with. Every member of my family. They didn't run for office, I did. You take pictures of my boys on the ball field, and Jeff Martin allows him to get away. I have women that have written me letters that won't go to the council meeting. I can just give you a little blurb of what one letter said. Mayor, I went to the dais, and Mr. Henderson and his group sat to my left. They attacked my hair. They attacked my wig. They attacked that my hair was gray. I will no longer come to a council meeting. You gave away council chamber to a hate group. And you want to give away our town to Robbinsville. While you're auditioning to be the 6th member of council in Robbinsville, I'm running Hamilton. That's a big difference. So, anyway, First time, and
So we've been hearing a lot of, I guess, scandal around the animal shelter, and I was wondering if you could just explain to us what happened with that and what are your plans for it?
absolutely. If you'll notice, and I've said this publicly, there was a deal cut to give our Hamilton Animal Shelter to another group that currently operates outside of Hamilton Township. And the deal was cut with Mr. Martin. If you endorse me, I'll give you the shelter. That's where it all started. Okay? Hamilton was the only shelter. Say you couldn't afford to put your dog down for $100. I've had to put my dog down. It's gut wrenching. I paid $600 to put my dog down. Okay? Here, now, one of the council members' parents called us and asked us to put his dog down. The year before, he goes on council. They launched an investigation because we weren't holding dogs for the 7 day. For 7 days. How many of you think if a dog needs to be put down, euthanized, end of life, sick, should be kept in that condition for 7 days?
No, that's not.
It's inhumane. But state law supposedly says that we have to. We didn't.
Like, what goes into holding a dog for 7 days if they should not be alive?
Yeah, who made that up?
Well, that's also because like you're not supposed to like bring your dead dog there.
Well, we were doing that. We had a sign up and we were doing that. Okay, so you'll see the charges for people not keeping 7 days. City of Trenton does it. Still doesn't keep dogs for 7 days. Gloucester, Bergen. There's shelters right now, never charged. Because Governor Murphy wants this town. His hand-picked candidate, Jeff Martin, who couldn't vote in the last mayor's election, was picked by Murphy to come here and run for office. Okay, so now we have 2 individuals. Okay? They hold this charade of a committee to investigate on council. Take a guess who was never interviewed. Take one guess. The supervising veterinarian never came before council.
Yeah, I
Never.
said that yesterday.
Why?
I think to him, the whole point of like not interviewing, I guess they were trying to find things out.
And we paid that supervising veterinarian to oversee the shelter $70,000 a year. Because it's a political hit job. If you wanted to know really what was going on in the shelter, you would have asked them. Never sent a subpoena. Ever. And that's wrong. Well, and the reason why they attacked it, everyone knows. How many of you have seen my videos of Dog of the Day? Yes, I take them to Dunkin' Donuts. I take a shelter animal. I'm 13 for 13. I expanded the shelter. I held 3 fundraisers. And I, 13 for 13, adopted dogs a day. They come and spend the day with me in the office. So I go, I pick them up, and, we go through McDonald's, and they love French fries, and, I do that because they knew it was near and dear to me. They go after everything I've been near and dear to. But they can't answer for the emails that exist between the viewing organization, asking all the questions, sending council the questions to ask. They don't care about them. They care about outside organizations. And that'll be coming out. That will be coming out. So that's what it's mainly about. And when the councilwoman who was on the committee sent an email asking for 2 people to be fired before the investigation. So now they're getting questioned and they don't like it. They have to release all of their emails and they're trying to prevent it. So that will come out shortly. Yeah. Think about it. How many pit bulls? Now, I've had 13 dogs in my office. The best one have been the pit bulls. They get such a bad rap, Now, if our shelter didn't exist, we have animals that have been there 4 or 5 years, some even longer. Some we pay thousands of dollars to keep alive. But they won't tell you that. Pit bulls. They're the last to get adopted. What would happen to those animals if we didn't have our shelter?
They
Those-
would leave and
You know, we've had big calls from monkeys to peacocks to snakes to, you know, it's a service that we provide. But they know that this is coming. They know they're going to have to answer for this because they now have to release their emails and they don't want to. So the Hamilton residents are going to see what happened here. So.
What role did you play in the euthanization of the 39 cats?
I don't play any role, and just to explain, and that's why they didn't call in our veterinarian. Okay, we had not apartment, condo. We kept getting calls, foul smell, foul smell. You can't get in the condo because we don't have the right to get in there, and neither does the condo development. So finally, it became so bad that we said, this is a health crisis. Somebody has to get us in there. We opened the door, we had to close it, and they put tie-back suits on, which means we have either bloodborne or something's going on in here. There were 39 cats feeding off of each other for months and days. The drywall was totally eaten through. So they resorted to eating one another to survive. So we called 3 veterinarians. One was ours. He said, no, I will not take them. Why? Because certain disease will wipe out your entire practice. This disease that they had. So, and naturally you can't bring them back to your shelter. So they euthanized, but caught 3. 3 veterinarian hospitals, no one would take them. So what you do, so they made the decision. And what they did is, you can tell how sick a cat is with a certain worm. They, do you know they call them black lights, where you run it, and they were covered. They were in very severe distress. But no one says that. No one tells the truth about it. So what do you do with these? No animal rescue organization would take them. What do you do? But they don't say that they had to rebuild the entire condo. The entire condo had to be rebuilt. They were trying to eat through windows, door jams, just to get out to survive. Because the owner dropped a baby pool in the middle with food, which maybe lasted 3 days. It was about 4 months that apartment, that condo was left in that condition. And it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Yep. But that person left, off scot-free. We have to change the laws to make it harder. So.
What happened to the person that left the cats there? What happened to the person that left the cats there?
Skip town, just left. That's why we couldn't get in. There were no phones, nothing. We couldn't get in. And my health department cannot get into a private unless it becomes a severe health crisis. Yeah. But when the calls came through of the smell in the building, in the back.
Would you ever be interested in running for a higher position?
I get asked that all the time. Because I take on Governor Murphy, everybody thinks I should run. He's the worst governor we will ever see in our history. But I love it. I love it here. And when you're on the front line, you can make such a huge difference. Because in Hamilton, there's only one call that's always taken, and that's from the mayor. Because they play such a vital role in helping so many people. So, but for me, now my skin is in the game here in Hamilton. I don't want to go anywhere else, and so.
What's the deal with the restaurants not being inspected?
Oh, great. Because Governor Murphy sent a letter out saying that restaurants have to be inspected every year. Total lie. Do not. What every town does, which is why once this goes to for a hearing, every health officer in Mercer County wants to attend the hearing because it's a lie. It doesn't happen. What our health department does, those that are higher rated, for example, how many of you know that pools They left out that we inspect pools. Lead, any complaint of lead can possibly shut down your health department for 2 days. They didn't put that in there. So what I did is called up the state. Now your mass producing growers, they're supposed to inspect those every year. Not done. Because it's such a political hit job. Murphy wants Hamilton. And I said, you're going to have to pull it out of my hands, Governor. And he doesn't want that. He knows that I take shots of him all the time. That's all. He picked Jeff Martin to come and run. No one can tell me that this all happens by accident. So what we do is we take our restaurant. How many of you know Home Depot is a retail food establishment? How many of you know that? Right? Because they sell crackers. They sell soda. Our health department has to go in there. What he also left out, that we don't inspect the ones that their corporate motto is to inspect 4 times a year. We don't have to go out and inspect those. They hand us their inspection. Yes. Eye doctors are supposed to be inspected every year. One eye doctor I know hasn't seen the state in 6 years because it's a hit job here. Yes. Pools. How many of you swim in a community pool, or when you went to camp, swam in a community pool? Those during the summer will go up on our list rather than going and investigating at Home Depot. Lowe's. Yeah. It's already prepackaged. We can't open the package to inspect it. So what we do, we focus on our restaurants and those that, and when the state put in their letter, Roses. Do we all remember Roses?
Oh, yeah.
What they left out was, Roses was inspected by us 4 times. 4 times before the incident. 4. But they left that out. They left that out. So this is what we're up against, but it's never mattered more to me than this year. Never mattered more to me. Nope. So.
Can we get the picture? Because the bell's going to ring very soon. And folks, did you know the mayor's running? So if you are looking to volunteer.
Yes, you have lots of food to do on a big year. Donuts are my favorite. Over here, do we have